Good afternoon, everyone. And I'll try that one more time. Good afternoon, everyone. I think you can do a little better than that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, you all get A's. My name is Alexander Ignetti. I have the privilege and honor of being the president here at SUNY Plattsburgh. And I am absolutely pleased to welcome you to this wonderful celebration as we gather to honor a remarkable woman, a remarkable athlete, a remarkable coach, and an incredible mentor. I won't reveal who we're talking about just yet. Today you're going to hear a great deal about Phoebe Sturm's work, her legacy, and the many people she influenced throughout her 36-year career in higher education, again as a teacher, as a coach, administrator, and a pioneer for women's athletics. You will hear about how she has inspired countless athletes to push their limits and achieve greatness. And so Phoebe, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And you just sit tight. We're going to come back to you. This event could not happen in a more appropriate time, given that this year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of Title IX. For half a century, Title IX has transformed the meaning. Yes. For half a century, Title IX has transformed the meaning of equality and opportunity in our classrooms and on the playing field and everywhere on campus to advance a brighter, fairer future for women and girls. It is fitting that we are here today to pay tribute to an incredible woman who championed countless female student athletes right here at SUNY Plattsburgh. And one of those athletes here tonight, or this afternoon, is Amy Gomlet-Capelli, class of 1990. Amy, if you just want to give her a wave. Where's Amy? Thank you. Amy launched an effort to celebrate Phoebe back in 2020 by proposing a campaign to honor her former basketball coach and mentor. Amy made an initial gift of $10,000 in honor of Phoebe that was matched by 10 donors who each gave $1,000 during the quiet phase. I should say that out loud. The quiet phase. I couldn't help but say the word quiet quietly. The quiet phase of the campaign. We then launched a campaign that included a letter from Amy to all of the women's basketball alumni and raised the remainder to establish the Phoebe Sturm Women's Basketball Endowment and named the coach's office in Phoebe's honor. More than 85 alumni, faculty, staff, and friends of the college made gifts in Phoebe's honor. So thank you again, Phoebe. So I'll give you another round of applause. While at SUNY Plattsburgh, Amy was an outstanding honors student while also playing basketball on the team each year while she was here. She studied abroad in her junior year, and Amy has generously been a leadership donor to the college for many years and has also supported the Plattsburgh Fund and the campaign to honor Dr. David Mowry with the naming of the Honors Seminar Room, and Amy is also a member of the Heritage Society with her legacy gift. Amy has clearly followed in the footsteps of her generous mentor and friend, and we are so grateful for her and for her commitment to this effort. So thank you, Amy, for your vision and your generosity and essentially your drive to make what's happening today a reality. I'd also take a moment to recognize Phoebe's friend and longtime colleague, Peter Liguri, who's also with us tonight. Peter, if you just want to give a wave. Thank you. Peter is a 1973 graduate who served the college in many capacities, including Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, Director of the First Year Experience and Retention Efforts, Director of Upward Bound, an Assistant Provost, Athletic Director for 17 years during Phoebe's tenure, and including 2 different stints as well during 1987 to 1997 and 1998 to 2004. Peter participated in Cardinal football, wrestling, and baseball teams and was inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame in 2007. Thank you, Peter, for joining us tonight, and I know it means a great deal to Phoebe that you're here. Finally, I would like to thank all of you, our generous donors, who help sustain SUNY Plattsburgh and specifically SUNY Plattsburgh Athletics in support of student success. At this time, I would like to ask Athletic Director Mike Howard to come to the podium and continue with the program. You will hear from me later on. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, President Yeti. Last night I introduced him. Today he's introducing me. We got a road show going here. Good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here as well. It's a great day. This might be the best day we've had all fall, Phoebe. So this is in your honor. My arrival at Plattsburgh was after Phoebe's retirement. So although I haven't had an opportunity to get to know her as well as a lot of you do, I can tell you that I'm very well aware of the legacy that she left as a trailblazing women's basketball coach and her long list of accomplishments to our Cardinal Athletic Department. In fact, I was a longtime coach and administrator at another North Country institution, and when I first started doing administrative work, Phoebe was still working here at Plattsburgh, and I recall quite often I would go to the athletic director because I was handling athletic contracts and such, and I would say, geez, who do I contact at Plattsburgh if I need to get an answer on the start time or on a specific date? And they said, well, contact the AD, but if you can't get a hold of the AD, contact Phoebe Sturm because she knows everything about what's happening at Plattsburgh. So I was well aware of your legacy before I arrived here at Plattsburgh. As many of you are aware, last night we celebrated another outstanding Hall of Fame class. This class will now join Phoebe as a member of the Cardinal Hall of Fame, as Phoebe herself was a member of the Cardinal Hall of Fame from the class of 2001 and was honored as an outstanding teacher, coach, and administrator. At this point, I'd like to direct everyone's attention to our new Hall of Fame board over here where Brian Savard, one of our assistant athletic directors, is standing. And he'll show you proof here that Phoebe's Hall of Fame display. Touchscreen monitor, first time we've seen this in action this weekend. And there it is, Phoebe Sturm, class of 2001 Hall of Fame. And I believe there's a few other Hall of Famers in attendance today, so please stop and check the Hall of Fame wall. We're very proud of that, and we appreciate all the work that Brian certainly put into that with the company that we were working on. The Hall of Fame wall makes events like today better than they ever could be. This particular event, led by lead gift, as President Yeti mentioned, of Amy Gomlak-Capelli, are just two examples of how significant the generous support of our alumni is to SUNY Plattsburgh and Plattsburgh athletics. Throughout the past 6 years alone, we have held a Game On for Giving event in February, which to date has raised over $300,000 for our Cardinal athletic programs. These gifts have supported our student athletes' ability to travel for out-of-region games, to purchase large equipment items, for refurbished team rooms, and on and on. We simply could not provide the best experience possible for our student athletes and for Cardinal athletics without the type of support that we receive from people like Amy and others in attendance today. So we greatly appreciate that. As President Yeti mentioned, this year we're also celebrating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX. Our department has been honoring this landmark event with ceremonies at home contests throughout the year. Each of these celebrations have featured some outstanding alumni who have played a critical role in advancing our women's teams to the highest levels of success. I know that Cheryl will be discussing this in greater detail in her remarks, but there's no doubt that Phoebe Sturm was an inspirational leader for the woman in the history of Plattsburgh State athletics. With that said, I'm going to introduce Cheryl Cole, our Associate Director of Athletics, good friend of Phoebe's, to make some more personal remarks about her time with Phoebe.
All right. Thank you, Mike. A little tall for me. Well, first off, this is a huge day, not only because we're honoring Phoebe, but it's also anybody who knows anything about Division III basketball. It's a start date, right? Ladies, are we out on the floor today? The men will get out there later, right, Mike? So it's a start of basketball, so it's very fitting that we're doing this at that time. So I'm honored to be here and share some great memories of my time with Phoebe. But first I want to, Amy, as I learned, Gom is the nickname that we use. Her vision and generosity, in creating and being the lead donor to the Phoebe A. Sturm Women's Basketball Endowment was just outstanding. And you know, I'm happy, you know, that her drive and passion for giving back is hopefully motivated lots of other people to do that, because that's what it's all about, is giving back to, you know, your experience here, and helping the next generation as they come through. So you know, and I'm also, as I look around, I see a number of people in the room that also donated to that endowment, and you know, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that they're here, and this will definitely ensure that Phoebe's legacy, okay, will last here forever at Plattsburgh. That is when we get the office built, but we'll make sure that everything happens there, and we'll get that going. It is definitely fitting that during the celebration of the 50th anniversary of Title IX that we're recognizing Phoebe with this dedication. Phoebe truly is Plattsburgh State's pioneer of women's sports. No doubt in my mind. We all stand on her shoulders, men, women alike. Today, we benefited from her advocacy and sacrifice to push for equality and opportunity for women to compete here at Plattsburgh. She started a women's basketball club back in 1966. Now, it's a long time for some of you young'uns up here. But 1966, she had 12 women, okay, donning the traditional jumper skirt uniforms. You've got a lot of think to this woman, so you're not still wearing those things, okay? They played a half-court game with some very, very archaic rules, okay? It took 6 more years. It was 6 more years before Title IX was signed into law, okay? And then, with Phoebe's continued perseverance, it paid off in 1974, okay, when she started and coached the first Plattsburgh State varsity women's basketball team here. And I know there's some people in the crowd that remember those days. She tirelessly led and grew that program for the next 22 years before retiring from coaching in 1996. I had the privilege a while back to sit with Phoebe and thumb through her photo albums. And she has incredibly detailed notes of all those players, all those seasons, and it was outstanding sharing her memories. I brought them tonight. They're over on this table, so please, you know, take a moment to flip through them, because they are truly the history of, you know, our women's basketball program here. I was fortunate in my career that we had more digital kind of things, and I had programs, but this is the legacy. It's apparent when you look at it. The detail and technique are what made Phoebe such an effective teacher and coach, and it wasn't limited to the basketball court. She also in her time here, taught bowling, tennis, and swimming, and was a long-time instructor of 2 very specialized sports, fencing and golf. In my opinion, these must be 2 of the most technical type of sports to learn and teach, but she was so good at breaking it down and teaching the various techniques to our students, just like she did all those years with her own basketball student athletes. When I came to Plattsburgh, I came in the fall of 1997. I was a young coach, and Phoebe took me under her wing. She had a wealth of knowledge to share and was a true advocate for women. We talked basketball, the SUNY, Plattsburgh, life in general, and she even helped me with my golf game, thankfully. She bled Cardinal red through and through and was immediately my and my team's biggest fan. I have a great memory that I want to share with you all. Phoebe doesn't even know I have this still. It's a phone message I've saved since March 2014, okay, after we'd won our first ever SUNY championship, and we're playing in the NCAA tournament. We won the first round game, and after all the excitement, I found this voice message on my phone. It meant so much to me for how proud she was of the success of our team. So bear with me on technology. Hang on.
I know you're not going to answer the phone right now.
You hear that?
But I'm down in North Carolina. This is Phoebe. And we watched you on TV tonight on a screen as big as my wall, which was great. Congratulations, your kids played great. Good luck tomorrow night, and we're calling again tomorrow night. And we're watching. I can't believe how big he got this picture. Okay, congratulations, and tell the kids, absolutely unreal. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Phoebe, for being a mentor and a friend all these years. I appreciate it. I want to bring Alice Sample. Alice, I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you because you also were the golf pro. You know, the other one was trying to help my swing. So please, without further ado, welcome to the stage.
I was the golf pro. Oh my God. I first met Phoebe in 1972. We had recently purchased a house on the lake, a camp on the lake, and I came down to open it up, and there was this woman standing on right on the edge of our property, and she had this bikini on and fit it perfectly, and had a little toy dog in her poodle, Par, his name was, and I walked over and I said, "Hi, I'm Alice Sample. I'm your new neighbor." And she said, she turned around to me and she said, "Hi, Alice. I'm your neighbor, Phoebe." and I'm afraid I laughed. I couldn't cover. What I expected to come out of that little person's mouth was not that. Anyway. Fast forward, that was 1972. Fast forward to 1997. In that time, Phoebe and I chatted every once in a while, but we were not really friends because we didn't have anything in common. And she had moved away from the lake, so we fast forward now to 1997. I called Phoebe in a panic because my dad, who lived to play golf, wasn't going to go and play golf anymore because he couldn't remember the names of the people he played golf with. And so he just wouldn't go. So I said, "What if I go?" And he said, "You don't like golf." I said, "I'll learn." And I called Phoebe up and I said, "Phoebe, I really need to learn to play." And so she said, "Well, I have some time next week." I said, No. I have to know by Tuesday." This was Thursday night. So she waved a magic wand over me as we worked out on Saturday and Sunday. And she did it. I went and played golf with my dad and his friends on Tuesday, and nobody had a heart attack. And the trouble is that the bug bit, and Alice became kind of at that time, a golf fanatic almost. Fo loves golf. It would be interesting to find out how many people she taught to play golf, how many people she taught to love golf. She won actually 8 club championships at Bluff Point, and she became the teaching pro there. I don't know how many years, but teaching pro at Bluff. And she was the assistant pro at Craigwood in Lake Placid. Aside from the lessons she taught here at the college, she taught individual lessons, group lessons, whenever time permitted. And once she told me that she liked teaching the sport almost better than playing it. So that shows a true teacher. In 2000, Phoebe retired and we started going to Florida. First, we brought 4 people, and then word spread, and the next year we had 8. And we went to play golf. So every morning we were on the golf course at 7 a.m., and we played 18, and then we had lunch, and then we played 18 more. We did. We freshened up, we went out to dinner, and most of the time we just crashed afterward to start again the next day. Sometimes people thought, well, let's go to the casino or a play, and everybody was always chipper to go. So anyway. Back here at Adirondack, one day, Phoebe and I were out early. We always carried our clubs for the first 18. And we were walking approaching a very long fifth hole, and it was a par five also, and so Phoebe went up to approached her ball, and she was taking off her clubs, and her foot found a hole, and she went down and punched herself in the chest really badly. So I helped her get her bag off, and she managed to stand up. And I said, let's just walk back to the clubhouse. And she said, I'm here in 3. I might get a birdie. So she didn't get the birdie, but she got the par. And we walked to the next hole because she said, I might feel better. And she took a full swing at the next hole, and then the result of that jab she took place, and she just went down in a heap and turned gray. And I got her on a bench and ran back for a cart. And we got in and went to the emergency room. It was 3 broken ribs. So she had to give up golf for a couple of months. No, a couple of weeks. Because we used to go to Westport, and we'd go one day a week. We'd play 18 carrying our clubs. Then we go in and eat lunch and play another 18 in a cart. Excuse me. This one day, we carried our clubs for 18. We met a group of ladies. I called them old ladies, but I can't do that anymore. And we played 18 with them. Then we had late lunch with them. We went back outside, and it was still light. So we got the cart, and we played another 54 holes of golf in one day. And it was kind of fun. Anyway, kind of fun. I think I was numb. Because you have to think, I had only just begun playing golf, so I was hitting a lot. Anyway, Phoebe, you've had a profound influence on so many lives. It's a real tribute, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. Oh, no, I don't. No. Okay, good.
It's my pleasure now to introduce Amy Gomlak-Capelli. Amy.
I've had many nicknames, but yeah, that's Gom is definitely one of them. Honestly, I have some prepared remarks, but I just wanted to say I had no idea that this dedication would turn into all of this. And I just want to say I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited for Phoebe and for all the women that are here because of her. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you to my husband, and thank you to God. It's an honor, truly, to be a part of the moments in a person's life that provide meaning, context, purpose, and memories. To punctuate a life passionately lived with great effort, love for athletics, equity for women, and care for family, and a successful career at SUNY Plattsburgh. I stand here in front of all of you today humbly aware of the some efforts that Phoebe has made in her life around basketball. And I'm not sure that I or anyone really can fully know all of the actions, intentions of a person to get to where they are in their lives today. The sacrifices, the joys and mistakes, and the relationships that made it possible to be the person that God meant for you to be. I simply want to be one of the many people here today to recognize not only Phoebe, but the Phoebe inside of all of us. Tenacious, focused, loving, generous, intentional. I say thank you, Phoebe, for helping those she touched to understand our own capabilities and for encouraging us to push those capabilities as an athlete, as a leader, and as a woman. A human getting by in this world with mentors and examples of those dedicating their lives to coaching and teaching others. I thank you, Phoebe Sturm.
Can I read your notes? I gotta put this cane somewhere. When I learned that I was about to become the recipient of this great honor, I was really surprised and humbled. Who thought that I would ever be recognized for doing something that I loved to do in a college that I loved being? This honor, I've got more to say. This honor grew more special and I'll be with you in a minute. This honor became more special and meaningful when I learned that it was created by one of my former basketball players, Amy Gomlak. I'll always call her Amy Gomlak, even though I love PJ. Okay, you'll never cease to amaze me, Aim, and you're always special. And for this honor, you outdid yourself, and you have my heartfelt thanks. I want to thank two people that I know helped Amy in her quest, because they spent a lot of time at my house. And that was Faith Leach and former basketball coach Cheryl Cole, who Cheryl brought the program to the next level before stepping down and turning it over to her assistant, Ben. I would be remiss if I didn't thank all my former players and assistants. And a special thanks to those who contributed to the Endowment Fund. I'd like to wish Ben and his Cardinals a happy, successful 22-23 season. And thank you all for coming. I never would have believed there'd be this many people here. Thanks again, everyone.
So please, one more round of applause for Phoebe. Thank you. And thank you again to Cheryl, to Alice, and to Amy for those incredible comments and reminiscence of how Phoebe has made an impact on your lives and continues to have an impact. At this point in time, we have some official business to take care of. So I'm going to ask a member of the College Council, Heidi Kelly, to join me here at the lectern to read the official proclamation for the dedication of the Phoebe A. Sturm Women's Basketball Coach's Office. Heidi, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Agnetti. Whereas Faculty Emeritus Phoebe Sturm's positive impact on the growth and development of athletics at SUNY Plattsburgh spans 4 decades, beginning when she was hired to teach physical education on campus. And whereas Phoebe Sturm dedicated herself to students and Cardinal athletics and was a pioneer for women's athletics on the campus. And whereas Phoebe Sturm served in various teaching, coaching, and administrative posts, including 21 years as women's basketball coach, winning more than 150 games, and as an assistant athletic director at SUNY Plattsburgh, and received recognition as State University of New York Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in 87-88. And whereas Phoebe Sturm served SUNYAC as chairperson of the Women's Sports Division in 1990 and president of SUNYAC for the 93-94 year, and received both the Retiree Award in 2000 and the Dr. Patrick Damore Distinguished Service Award in 2003, the conference's highest award to retirees who made a significant contribution to SUNYAC over a period of 15 years. And whereas Phoebe Sturm gained a stellar reputation as an instructor of golf and fencing, was a course champion at Bluff Point Golf Resort, and devoted time to community service for youth sports development. And whereas over 85 alumni, faculty, staff, and friends of the college have gifted more than $15,000 to establish the Phoebe Sturm Endowment for Women's Basketball, and $10,000 in additional gifts in honor of Phoebe Sturm. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the College Council of the State University of New York College at Plattsburgh officially recommends to the President that the Women's Basketball Office within Memorial Hall be formally and permanently named as the Phoebe A. Sturm Women's Basketball Office. And be it further resolved that the College Council thanks Phoebe Sturm for her distinguished service to SUNY Plattsburgh and wishes her the very best. Unanimously approved on September 12th, 2022. Congratulations, Phoebe.
And with the presentation of the plaque, it's my distinct honor to accept the recommendation from the College Council. And Phoebe, it's now official. Congratulations, you have your space. So I'd like to thank you all again for joining us today, and specifically thank you to Phoebe for your leadership, your tenacity, your commitment to SUNY Plattsburgh athletics, and your decades of guiding our student athletes, our female student athletes in particular. You have truly impacted the campus, you've inspired hundreds of former students like Amy, and you've always strived for greatness and to win. And with that, thank you again for all you've done for this campus. You are appreciated and you are loved. Thank you again. And the last bit of housekeeping business is that there will be a reception that will follow here in Memorial Hall, in the lobby, and in the Cardinal Hall of Fame area here. And the celebration is sponsored by the Plattsburgh College Foundation. Thank you again, everyone. It's been wonderful to see you all. And Phoebe, I'm looking forward to speaking to you more. Thanks.
So I played for Phoebe in 1995-1996, which was her final season as head coach. I believe she then transitioned into athletic administration after that. So I was able to play for her in her final year. You know, I guess I'll share it in terms of what I consider to be the greatest lesson that I have taken from my time during that year when she coached me. And it's something that I treasure to this day. and that is that no matter who you were on the team, whether you were the star player, whether you were the starting five, first off the bench, or the last person off the bench, you mattered. And that was really important. She celebrated the entire student athlete. And as a D3 athlete, I think that's so important. And for me personally, she was always very proud of my academics. And I'll never forget, I had departed for summer break, and grades at that point were mailed home. They had not arrived yet, and she made a personal phone call to me to congratulate me on my GPA, and I'll always remember that. I would like to say thank you to Phoebe. As noted in today's program, she was a part of athletics before Title IX. And as a former D3 player, as a mom of two little girls, the word pioneer was used. I think it's perfect. She, along with many others, should be celebrated, and I have gratitude for everything she's done for females in sport and at SUNY Plattsburgh. Phoebe has been such a big part of my life, and when I had the opportunity to make a leadership gift to her endowment, it was a pleasure.
Well, I first knew Phoebe as my wife's basketball coach. My wife graduated and she played for Phoebe in her first varsity season in 1974. And then I got to know Phoebe very well when I became athletic director. She was my assistant athletic director and handled scheduling for us. And we spent a lot of time going to SUNYAC together. She was representing the women and I the men. But we went 3 times a year for 4 days each. So we spent a lot of time. My kids used to drive us to pick me up when we would go. We had a great time, got to know each other very well. I got a chance to see how much SUNYAC respected Phoebe. There were a number of women who were there for a long time, and at that time SUNYAC and the New York State Women's Collegiate Athletic Association was sort of having some conflict and merging together, and Phoebe was part of that, so I got to know Phoebe quite well. I was very impressed with her. She was very supportive, which was very important to me, because when I came over, athletics was going through a very low period of morale. They just come out of the NCAA investigation, and there was low morale. They lost some good people over the years, and Phoebe was a leader in the department as well. And so I think the support she showed me was crucial to my moving the department forward over the next years. And the development of the fitness center and other things in the department. Phoebe was a good golfer. She won the club championship, I think, 8 times. And I beat her every time we played. We would go on the way to the SUNYAC, we'd stop over and speculate in New York. There was a 9-hole course we would play. With my handicap system, I could have beat Tiger Woods. I got 3 shows on the 5, 2 on a 4, and 1 on a 3. And somehow I was able to beat it with that amount of handicap. The first time we played, I hit a ball off the church roof and it landed on the green, so I knew I was lucky. But she was a great golfer. I was not. I was a hacker.
That's great.
But she always played with me. She always looked forward to it. I just think people need to know she was respected off the campus as well. SUNYAC, she was the president of SUNYAC, received the Distinguished Service Award. She had a statewide reputation that went well beyond the campus. And she was also willing to go through changes when she used to teach a fencing course down in where we put the fitness center, so there wasn't a lot of places that we could teach a fencing course. It had enough room. But she handled that well, and she was very supportive of everything that people did.
Phoebe recruited me out of high school and really just kind of took me under her wing and wanted me to come and play here. And I didn't have a great family life. It wasn't bad or anything, but my parents were divorcing during the time, and so it was tough. So Phoebe, open door policy, talked to me. I came here on the EOP program, which I loved. I could have never made it without that program and her. And she's a mentor. She coached me for 4 years, and I was around, after that just to help out and stuff. And yeah, that's how I know Phoebe. The impact Phoebe had on my life is, sometimes it's hard to say because it was such an emotional time for me, and it still is. When she was up there speaking, I was teary-eyed and remembering the times. But the one that sticks out the most is, I think it was my sophomore year, and I had no money for books. And at that time, the NCAA rules weren't as strict as they are now. So she paid my books. And I said, Phoebe, I'll pay you back. And she said, pay it forward. And then she bought my books for her out of her own pocket. And it was just amazing. She's just such a giving person. And then when I started coaching, I remember those words with my students. I started coaching at Cardinal Community College in 1995. And I remember those words every day when I talked to the students. And I actually did the same for one of my, it wasn't all the books, but it was definitely one or two. And they said to me, how am I going to pay you back? And I said, you're going to pay it forward, do it to somebody. I ended up coaching for about 23 years over there. And, you know, Phoebe was there, you know, from good times and bad times, because, you know, coaches and players sometimes, you know, they butt heads a little bit. But I love her. She just made an impact to me. She made an impact to all these people that are here, the community. What she gave for the community and for this college is unbelievable. And it was because she was passionate about what she did, and she loved it, and she believed in equality. And I've written papers on Title IX, and it's always a story of, you know, how I got involved, and yeah. So she's definitely a mentor to me and the community for sure.
Phoebe and I overlapped for a lot of years because she came in '65 and I came in '69. But in terms of my responsibilities back then, it had really nothing to do with athletics. So, and by the time my responsibilities did have something to do with athletics, Phoebe was retired. So in terms of her athletic career, I wasn't really all that involved, although I knew who Phoebe was and heard about her various and sundry accomplishments, especially with golf, because as you age, golf takes on a certain cachet. Anyway, I've gotten really to know Phoebe after she retired and after I retired, because there's a little group of us that get together for dinner, and we're both part of that group. And I just find Phoebe to be, well, a delightful personality and really a legend in her own time. I think there's something to be said for longevity, and I think that when I refer to her as a legend in her own time, I mean, I think she did have that impact on a lot of people, and the longer you serve, the sort of the greater the impact becomes. Oh, you were one of Phoebe's teams or whatever, or you were a Phoebe student or whatever. And the thing that strikes me about Phoebe is her incredible optimism. In addition to being energetic and all of that, Phoebe is an optimist and fun to be with, and gives good advice. And I could easily see her in that mentor role with her teams that she was coaching. I think you need somebody of her type of personality, particularly if they're going to teach fencing, because that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. What Phoebe and I have in common right now is that I happen to have a inherited kitty cat, a secondhand cat, and Phoebe is a cat lover, so she is my resource for kitty cat knowledge. I mean, I never had pets. And so if I have questions regarding the kitty cat, I talk to Phoebe. And I enjoy her company an awful lot.